is decent work? Let's quickly look at our question of the day, and your responses, of course, will be shared with the rest of us as we all try to aim for a decent job. The world is aiming to have decent work for all by 2030. This is part of the SDGs. What could that look for most professions in Ghana? Share with us what decent work means to you. So, if you hear decent work, what exactly does it mean to you? That's basically what our question of the day is all about. Now, we're going to go into our whole bit about decent work, but let's take a look at some few statistics or facts about decent work, and that's coming up shortly. So what exactly is decent work? According to the International Labour Organization, decent work sums up the aspirations of people in their working lives. It involves opportunities for work that is productive and delivers a fair income, security in the workplace. So if you have a job and you're getting all of these, then you do have a decent work. If you don't, then your work is not exactly very decent. So that is how the ILO defines decent work. So it goes on to say that social protection for families, better prospects for personal development and social integration, freedom for people to express their concerns, organize and participate in the decisions that affect their lives, and equality of opportunity and treatment for all women and men. Again, if you're getting all of this at work, you have a decent job. Productive employment and decent work are key elements to achieving a fair globalization and poverty reduction. The ILO has developed an agenda for the community of work looking at jobs. So that's basically the ILO's decent work agenda, and it basically says that creation, rights at work, social protection and social dialogue with gender equality as a cross-cutting objective. So basically, this is how the ILO looks at decent work. And so if you are at work, or if you have a job, if you are fully employed, whether it's full-time or part-time, looking at what the ILO says decent work is, do you feel you have a decent work? Do you have the security at work? Are you able to voice your concerns? Do you take part in decision-making because it affects you eventually at the workplace? That is what decent work is about, and more. So now let's focus on our stories for timeline, because in some parts of the world, being a firefighter is a job to be proud of. The community celebrates you and every child sees you as a hero. Firefighting out there is seen as more than just putting out fire, but rather saving lives. Ahead of Workers' Day, Lerato Lesoso, my colleague, spent a day with the Ghana National Fire Service, and she brings us the following report.
They do not work regular hours, neither do they work under regular circumstances. No, these men are not regular at all. They are firefighters. But how come in Ghana here we do not celebrate them? Because in other parts of the world, firefighters are seen as heroes. They are there to save lives. They are celebrated. So we decided to come out here today to spend a day in the life of a firefighter. Join me.
Hello.
A busy morning here at the Ghana National Fire Service Station. Here in the call room, several communication devices are activated to facilitate swift emergency response. Every minute, a telephone rings at a deafening level, but most of the calls that come here are prank ones.
Hello. This fire service, how may I help you?
With no room for a second thought, the fire brigade is always on the alert to follow the direction of the caller and douse the fire. Identifying the genuine calls is always a major challenge to these firefighters.
It has been affecting us, but there's nothing we can do about it. So we've talked to National Security, and they are doing their best. They said they will help us for us to put a stop to it.
These men are trained to deal with any hazardous fire, from industrial, home, or even a burning car. On the accident scene, the fire brigade also plays a crucial role in the rescue exercise. The day begins with a routine morning briefing. Work ethics and professional delivery are always a reminder. With no case to follow today, I was taken through some stimulation exercise. A tedious and dangerous job that requires the lion-hearted. In some instances, some of the firefighters lose the battle and succumb to the ravaging fire.
10% casualty is accepted. 10% casualty means 10% of the team that went out can lose their lives. 10% can get injured. In certain instances, it is not the fault of the firefighter, but the circumstance around it. We've encountered a scenario where they went in to save lives on the Accra-Kumasi road, that's precisely around in Nkoko. A vehicle coming in ran into the vehicle and then killed firemen. And one in second day, whereby a gas explosion took place and affected the firefighters. 5 of them they are seriously hurt because they got bent.
Aside the prank calls, the fire service faces numerous challenges, and one major one is the response of nationals on the road, which really affects their response time. We set for the streets, and this was to give me a first-hand information about the challenge of getting to a disaster site. We meet a fairly thick traffic jam, and some reluctant drivers deafen their ears against the loud, unending siren.
We Ghanaians, some of them, everybody, and it's our mind, because some will just give way, some will not give way, and because yes, and then because the traffic light is not working, some will say, "Oh, Charlie, no, let me forget them," because I cry. Everybody's using his mind to make life. You understand?
You see, sometimes there is a case at Ashaiman where the whole place got bent down before the fire service people arrive. You understand? So they should check their time.
The fire service is one of the 3 main emergency services. These men are no ordinary men. They sacrifice time with loved ones, and most importantly, they sacrifice